Mars is leaving Cancer tomorrow. I repeat, Mars is leaving Cancer tomorrow. Mars has been in Cancer for the past 6 months, give or take. And it's basically the reason why people around you may have been acting insane. People have been losing their minds. If you've been dealing with stonewalling, passive aggressiveness, right? Tension within your family or with other women, right? A bubbling up of your emotions, not being able to handle your emotions as well. This almost kind of like hyper introversion, right? You're just not able to release the energy. It's like you're constantly pent up. You're constantly emotionally constipated. Don't forget to use the Astra app for all of your questions with how Mars in Cancer is going to affect your rising sign. You guys know I'm a Capricorn rising, and Mars in Cancer has literally been like, girl, sometimes you were the problem. And you hate to see it. It's hard to hear, especially as a Capricorn. I don't like that. That's been the feeling of Mars in Cancer, right? And it ends tomorrow. It all ends tomorrow. Let's do the lineup, shall we? Honorable mention goes to Aries and Libra placements for getting through this transit, but the MVPs of this transit, Cancer and Capricorn placements, take a motherfucking bow. Give yourself a cookie, give yourself a gold star, pat yourselves on the back, put your pinky up. I don't fucking know. But Mars has been on our necks for 6 months. Okay? Mars in Cancer started September of 2024. Mars has been in Cancer since September of 2024. We had Mars enter Leo like November, December, and then Mars stationed retrograde like December 6th in the sign of Leo, and then Mars began moving backwards into Cancer, and then early January we had Mars re-enter Cancer, and it's been there ever since. Okay, Mars has had a very extended stay in a sign where he is debilitated, right? Mars does not function directly in the sign of Cancer. And I've said this before, it's very much almost like this past 6 months, you might have felt like in a certain area of your life that you've been overcompensating. You've had to work harder. Your usual ways of getting things done, whether it's within your routine, whether it's with getting along with your coworkers or within a relationship, etc., right? Your usual ways of doing things were fucked with somehow. And you've had to go out of your way. You've had to literally bend over backwards to get just the smallest things done, right? It's like your energy output has been different. You might have been feeling more lethargic, especially with the lunations, with the full moons and the new moons. You might have felt it's just been very amplifying because Mars in Cancer, right? Cancer is a moon-ruled sign, and Cancer is extremely fluctuating. The moon is the fastest moving planet. All the planets are moving like this, the sky, and what is the fucking moon doing? The moon is literally like lapping these other planets. So the moon is really up and down all the time. It's very hard for Mars in Cancer to have a sense of security and stability emotionally, right? It's harder for this placement to feel grounded. And it also takes more energy for Mars in Cancer to exert themselves, to create, to extend themselves. It's almost like every single thing that they do, it feels like they're overextending themselves because their source of energy is very, very low. So when they are going outside, when they are getting a project done, when they are socializing, they're using a lot more of their battery than other people because Mars is in its fall in this sign, right? Mars is debilitated. Mars is in detriment, whatever. I've been dealing with a lot of drama over the past 6 months that's not necessarily been super in your face because Mars in Cancer is not a placement really that's going to handle things out in the open, right? Mars in Cancer is very much an observer behind the scenes, behind the curtains, quietly kind of manipulating things and pulling the strings behind the scenes, right? And then throwing rocks and like putting their hands behind their back. That is Cancer. It's a very sneaky, shady sign. Cancer is very shifty and flighty. So you also may feel like over the past 6 months, a lot of plans have fallen through. You haven't been able to necessarily get certain things off the ground, and those delays are about to finally see some progress and some forward movement. We're going to have Mars enter Leo April 18th, and you're going to definitely start to see a pivot in a certain area where it's been super slow or it's been very kind of dull. We're going to be finally seeing some forward movement that we've all been craving. Mercury just entered Aries and is now direct. Venus is now direct in Pisces and will be creeping back towards Aries. Venus is going to be re-entering Aries. April 30th, Venus is going to be re-entering Aries. And so really throughout the rest of April, we're finally kind of getting back some fire energy in the sky. And specifically where Mars is concerned, we're out of this lethargic energy that has kept us very kind of complacent and very, Cancer for the past 6 months has kept us very reluctant and very hesitant, right? And now we're kind of at the point where it's like, okay, actually, I need to start meeting my physical needs now, right? And that's the thing with water signs in general, is that water signs 9 times out of 10, when they are losing their minds, when they're kind of like crashing out, it's because their physical needs are not met. There's something within their body that they're probably not taking care of. They need to eat. They need to go exercise. They need to go outside. They need to move their body, because emotions, right, is a feeling in motion. That is what an emotion is. And because water signs are obviously the feelers, I think sometimes water signs forget that they need to move their feelings through, especially with Scorpio and Cancer, because these signs are not as fluid as Pisces. Pisces is a very fluid sign, but Pisces is still a part of this because Pisces can get very detached almost. Pisces' way of doing it, it's almost like they're detached and they're kind of escapists in a way. And that also is not fulfilling enough for their physical needs. And then Scorpio and Cancer tend to get constipated emotionally. They get backed up, they get very stuck up, and they have a lot of like trauma and feelings literally stored in their body. And so what Mars in Cancer has showed us is where these ignored feelings have been living. And it has manifested for you probably very, very, loudly, okay? I have had the worst eczema breakout. My skin has been horrible for the past 6 months. Literally, starting in the fall, I feel like I was so glowy, and literally my skin health has declined severely. I've been super dry. I've been breaking out. And so it does literally feel like my body has been fighting against me. And it's really, honestly, at the end of the day, Mars in Cancer has been such an emotional journey. And I feel like we have all graduated, especially the cardinal signs. We've had a lot of full circle moments, and now we can be blessed with Jupiter entering Cancer come June 9th. Mars in Cancer is really laying the foundations for where Jupiter in Cancer is going to kind of add some wisdom and abundance and kind of like really plant the seeds where Mars in Cancer has like plowed, if that makes sense.